All right, so all right, look at that nice bubble action of that sourdough and yeast. Oh, it's doing really good. So I could wait longer and let this spend more time together, getting all yeasty, but I'm going to instead right now, I am going to add 1 egg that has been at room temperature. Four tablespoons. Oops. See, I told you guys I can get messy at times. Okay, 4 tablespoons of softened butter. We're gonna add 3 tablespoons of honey. And I hope you guys can hear me over that dishwasher. I probably should have waited to do dishes until later. Oh my goodness, we gotta get more honey. I need to get local honey, because that's my favorite, but also it's just so much better for you. Good for you with allergies and to combat pollen allergies. Okay, so we've got that. And remember I said it was honey oatmeal bread. So what I'm gonna do right at the moment is I've had some oatmeal that I just mixed with some water to get soft. It's 2 cups of oats. You could grind it up into oat flour, but we like a little bit of the texture. But it's best when it's soft. And so it's best when this is soft, and you guys. So I'm gonna just make sure that's all combined right at the moment. Looking good, right? Looking really good. And then we're gonna add 3 cups all-purpose flour. Now, I keep my flour, my all-purpose flour, pre-sifted in a container so that I don't have to worry about resifting it. So I've got a container here full sifted already. And when I say container full, that's what I'm talking about, you guys. This is a container I got from Walmart, and I keep my pre-sifted AP flour in that. So it's ready to be used. Cookies, cakes, whatever. Or I have a sifter that attaches to my KitchenAid that I will use. All right, so I'm gonna start beating this together. Well, not really beating it, mixing it, right? And this will get a little loud, so bear with me. All right, so that dough is still. All right, so this is what the dough is looking like as it's coming together. Mixing up. I'm gonna add another cup of AP flour to it. Half cup at a time. Alright, so I'm starting to see it pull away from the sides, and that's what you want to see. But I want to get that flour and the oats and the sourdough and everything all good and combined. It's looking nice and elastic. That's what I want to see. Okay, so we're looking at our flour here. I keep my pre-sifted AP flour in that container, and I always keep a 1 cup measuring cup in there. I'll pre-sift my AP flour. I use a sifter and scale that attaches here, and I'll pre-sift a bunch. It's enough to fill my container. All right, so that's coming together right now. I'm gonna stop that, and I'm gonna switch that over to my dough hook. Oh yeah, we're starting to look really good here. Really good. All right. Don't mind me while I just kind of scrape some of this off. You can use a rubber spatula here. I'm just using that same spoon I used to stir the sourdough mixture here a little bit ago. I want to keep as few dishes tonight as possible. And then I am going to put my dough hook on. Give me a minute while I do that. And then I'm going to let my dough hook at a medium speed. All right, so then I'm just gonna let my dough work on this at a medium speed until it forms a ball and it's all pulled away from the side. I'll be back and show you guys that here shortly. All right, so my dough is pretty much pulled away from the sides and it's forming a ball. So I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to pull out that dough hook. Now, bear with my sloppy camera work, you guys. Like I said, I'm a newbie still at this. All right, so I'm gonna take out my dough hook and I'm gonna just make sure I take all that dough off. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm gonna pull my dough from the sides and the bottom and I'm just gonna pull it. So I'm not going to knead it anymore. I'm just gonna pull it and pull it over, stretch it over. Okay, so and then what I'm going to do is I am going to transfer this to a oiled larger bowl and I'm going to let it set for roughly 60 minutes to 90 minutes depending because I want it to rise and double by half. So let me show you that process and the bowl I usually rise my dough in. All right, you guys, so I've got a big bowl here. One of my favorite bowls. Put some canola oil in that. And I'm gonna take my dough and I'm just gonna gently take it and scrape it, push it into my bowl. So this is what it's gonna look like. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'm gonna set it here. I'm just gonna take it and roll it over, make sure all of it's covered with oil, and then do a couple more stretches here. And I'm gonna let it now set for up to 90 minutes, depending on how long it takes. And I'm gonna cover it with a clean tea towel. So it's gonna sit here in this space on top of my stove with this tea towel, and then I'll be back. All right, everybody, so I'm back with my bread. As you can see, it's doubled pretty much in size from when we left it over an hour and a half ago, rising. And so I am just going to take it and I'm going to just turn it until it's all kind of turned over on each other. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on my baking mat, which I'll show you. So I've got some other stuff going on the other counter here. So I will often take a cutting board and put it here on my stove with this vintage Tupperware mat that I was telling you guys about that I got from my husband's great aunt. So it's Tupperware and it's got the measurements to measure out your pie crust. I love that. And it's got little tips and tricks and it's just really awesome. So I am going to take this dough just a few more times and I'm going to just take it and turn it over on itself, if this makes sense. I'm not really kneading. We're sort of kneading. So it's not a true sourdough, because true sourdough you don't really knead, you more just turn over and over a couple times. But we want to get that gluten activated in that bread dough. And so just getting it to become more elastic, and you can see the bubbles forming, right? Hopefully you guys can see that in that dough. See? So it's a big old mess of dough. You could take it like this, cut it in half and make 2 round rustic loaves, but we are going to use loaf pans that I have sprayed with release spray. And what I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna do this rustic. I will sometimes use a knife or a pastry blade. And I'm just gonna divide this in 2 as evenly as I possibly can, which doesn't look very even, I know, but that's okay. We're not making show-stopping loaves of bread. It all tastes the same. And I am going to take this and I'm going to form it in a rough loaf. And then I'm going to put it in my bread pan. Now I'm telling you guys, I don't do any fancy stuff here, right? I'm pretty basic and I try to do things as easy as possible. So that's what this looks like right at the moment. Let me get this other one going and put it in its pan so I can show you what I do next before I bake. You can do this on the counter with some flour, right? And have that all there. So this is what my 2 loaves look like right now. And I'm gonna let it rise again for like 15 to 20 minutes, depending. Sometimes I let it go for 30. And so I'm gonna let it rise again, and I'll show you what it looks like after I've let it rise in the pan and what our next step will be. All right, so I forgot to turn on the camera and show you guys the bread after it had done its rise, but I had just taken a blade and went down the middle, brushed them with butter and baked them. So like I told you guys, they're very rustic. They just came out of the oven. This is what they look like. They're a little bit darker on the bottom than I would like, but that's okay. So you want to be able to thump your bread and it should sound hollow like these do. And that tells you it's done. So I'm gonna let it cool off. And that's honey oat sourdough bread. Yum.